Hello, this is Terry Woodhams with Let's Be Artful, and I am here doing a challenge in the a Common Canvas collaboration. And this challenge is brought to you by Jeannie from Jeannie's Palette, and she gave us the challenge to create something that has to do with winter forest vibes. So I came up with a two little owls here because they are winter animals, right? And they're going to be in a forest, in a snowy forest. And this, I'm going to have this available in my my membership group for other paint party people who do paint parties who need designs for their business. Almost always start with the background. So I'm going to start with my lightest blue here because I want the background to be very, very light. And this is just going to be like the sky. Always wet your brush before you get started. I'm going to be using a 1-inch flat brush here. You can go down a size if you're painting on a smaller dimension. I do have other sizes that I have that I always upload to the Painting Tracers to Go group is the 8x10, 8x8, 11x14, which is what this one is. And then the 12x16 and 16x20. Those are the common sizes for doing paint parties or painting classes. Of course, I can do other sizes upon requests. Do the next layer that is coming forward. So that's going to be my next dark blue, which is going to be the Blueberry Frost. You can use any combination of blues here, but what I'm doing is I got the different layers where the farthest behind color, the things that are farther away are the lightest colors, and then as they come forward they get darker. I'm going to, so these trees that I have, these are trees, if you couldn't tell, these are pine trees, but I also want another layer of trees that seem like they're more farther away. These are going to end up being darker because they're going to be closer to us, but I do want some trees that are more in the distance. So just in between these ones here, I'm taking my flat brush and I'm holding it this way instead of flat. I'm holding it more on the skinny side, and I'm starting up at the top here, and then I'm angling my brush down and making short little strokes going off to the side. And it's okay if you overlap these ones here because those are going to be painted the darker color, so it will cover that up. Try not to get it on my owl's head though. So these ones are just, they're going to be silhouettes, so they don't have to be perfect. They're just implying that they're trees. So here's a space right here, so I'm going to make a little mark for the top, and then I'm going to go and make short little strokes, and I'm going down at an angle. And if maybe to explain this better, let's make a line and let's pretend like that's the tree trunk, okay? And I'm going to start and make tiny little pulled out angled strokes, angling down, and then as I go down farther, I'm pulling them out farther to give that shape of that tree. If that makes any sense. So here, I'll do it again. I'm going to make however tall I want my tree. So there's like the tree trunk. And then I'm going to dab on the side. As I go down at an angle, I'm pulling out even more. I'm pulling out longer. I feel like I'm not explaining that very well. Let's see. So I can decide how many of these little trees I want here. Maybe one there and maybe one there. You know what I forgot to do was I was going to put a little moon in the background. So that can be optional. You don't have to put a moon in the background. Or it could be like the sun. We could still put it in, I guess. So yeah, I got ahead of myself here and I forgot that I do have a white orb in the background. So whatever you want it to be, whether it's the sun or the moon, I envisioned it more like the moon. I think I'm going to take a round brush. You can use a flat brush too. I'm just going to use this number 8 round brush here, and let's put in a moon. Let's put in a circle. Doesn't have to be a perfect circle. Okay, you can leave it like that, or you can make some dashed curved lines going around it. Give it a little bit of style. Totally up to you. Almost like the Starry Night style where there's lots of these curved dabs. And then if you want to blend that out even more, I'm not even going to wipe off my brush. I'm going to dip into that background blue that I had on there. So I have both that blue and the white on my brush, and I'm just going over it, trying to avoid that little tree right there that I put in. I probably should have waited to put that one in. And you can just keep swirling it around. Don't overdo it though. And you can go out as far as you want. As they go out though, I'm going to try not to put as much paint on there. I'm just going to use whatever's left on my brush. And you can see why I should have waited to put that tree in. Then you can let that dry, and then you can go back and make that even more opaque if you like. All right, let's get into painting the foreground trees. I'm going to use my darkest blue. I'm using the Mountain Blue. It's not a very, it's more on the warm side of a blue, I guess. If you think of colors having a warm side and a cool side, it is more of a warmer blue. All right, so here we go again. So here's one tree here. You don't have to do this part, but this is just how I can explain it better. And as I'm pulling down at an angle, I'm pulling out more. So I'm getting that triangular shape that are typical of lots of pine trees. And if you like, you can go back in, and before those paint strokes dry, you can pounce your brush to kind of get rid of those paint strokes and give it more of a different kind of texture. I'm going to go back and paint. I forgot to paint one of those faraway trees. I don't want to paint one of the darker trees coming out behind their heads because I'm thinking it might look weird, like there's something on top of their head. So to avoid that, I just did the lighter color silhouettes of the trees. There's a couple little negative spaces in here I need to get. But let's first get that one tree in that I forgot about over here. All right, so since I could either choose to do this color, kind of went over my bird a little bit there, or I could do the dark blue. Let's just start with this color since that's what's up here, like like it's the part of that same tree there. But I think it might not matter which one you do. Down here though, I'll definitely do the darker blue though. The next color, the next thing that is coming forward is the owls. I'm going to use this dark gray here. Of course, you can use any color you want. The color palette doesn't have to be these colors. You can change it up and it can be totally different colors if you want, because this can turn into a more of a fall painting too with more warm colors. I'm going to switch down to, I think, maybe a number 5. Let's try that. And with these owls, I'm choosing to do this part of them, the gray. But like I said, it can be any color you want. Since this is supposed to be a winter theme, I went with more cool colors for this palette. Let's see here. I wonder if I should switch to a smaller brush. No, that's okay. We'll keep with the same brush here. I'm going to make these little V shapes to kind of make it look like it's their feathers, but you can turn them into hearts too. So when I lay down my brush, the tip of my brush is going to be like the top part of the V up here. But this is also another way you can make hearts. And you see I'm angling my brush each time I get each side down. And then, so I make a row, and then right the next row down, I'm going to make it in between. So basically, you just press down with your, press and pull down with your brush to make these little V's. Okay, I'm going to paint their little beaks the same gray color. And I will do their toes the same color too. Very simple color palette. I forgot that I need a dark brown for the branch here. I guess you could have used, well, I don't think black will look very nice, but a brown. So burnt umber. I forgot to add that to my color palette. That same number 5 round brush. think you can bump it up a size too if you want, especially if you're doing the bigger size painting. You can use the number 8 round brush. Would also work well. Whoops, I just went right over these guys' 2 nails. Hello, I was being a little careless. I can go back and fix that. That's the great thing about acrylic paint, is you can always fix it. Alright, now before this dries, if you want to add a little bit of texture in with that, you can dip just a little bit of white if you want to, and just add some wavy lines in here with the white and let it blend with that brown. So it's not stark white, but it just gives it a little bit of texture, because wood has texture, especially when it's still on the tree. Making some wavy lines in here. If you feel like you put too much, or you put it on a section that dry, just go back in with your brown and just go around top of it. Alright, I need to fix the little toes there where I got a little too careless. So I should wait for that brown to dry, but you know what? I can probably get away with if I just load my brush up. Oops, that was too much paint. I'm just going to go right on top and put those toes back in. Alright, let's get those eyes in with the black. And feel free to turn your canvas so that you're not cranking your hand. Just turn it the way that makes sense to you, so that you're not resting your arm across all this wet paint. Starting to come to life. All right, so if you wanted to, so owls actually have yellow eyes, right? So we probably should put some yellow there, but I should have done that first. I didn't want to add another color to this palette. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a Sharpie marker. Here it is. Or I could have done it with paintbrush too, but I'm going to have a little bit more control with the Sharpie marker. Or any marker, any black marker, doesn't have to be a Sharpie. All right, we can stop here or we can keep going. Let's add a little more texture to the feathers. I think we're going to keep with the smaller brush and some white. And let's start up at the head, right in the middle here. I'm going to make some quick little flicks following around the head here. And then as I get around to the side of the head here and onto the wing, Now you can keep doing that with the little short little strokes, or you can have a little fun with it and make some like scalloped lines here. Is that what you'd call them? Scalloped? I'm not sure. Probably another word for that. Squiggly lines? I don't know. I have a line here that defines their head. I think now you can just outline it. Maybe that's the easiest thing to do. If I was teaching this for a paint party. Let's do a little highlights, and then I think we're just about done here. It's just a simple little painting for anybody to do. All right, let's start up at, I'm going to start up at the top and work my way down. I'm going to put a little highlight in their eye. So what I like to do is use the back of my brush, and I dipped it in white and kind of on the upper part here. All right, and then I'm going to make a little tiny little, right on the top of their beak here, a little line going across. I could have done the other way too. Actually, oh my goodness, you know, that just gave it, I don't know if you see what I see, but as soon as I put those little white lines, I'm going to change this because now they look like little mouths with teeth. Do you see that? Oh my gosh, that's funny. I'm going to redo that, and I'm going to make the line going the other direction. Little highlights on the top of their little nails here. I'm just doing these little upside down U's on the top of their nails. Kind of give it a little bit of, you know, like they're shiny. This might be really hard to do on a smaller size, so maybe a pen. You could do it with a pen, or just leave it out. You totally don't even have to do that. All right, I think it's done. I could totally add more to it if I want, but I wanted to keep it simple, keep it paint party worthy for anybody to do. And I had fun designing it. So go check the other artists out in the A Common Canvas YouTube page. The playlist is Winter Forest Vibes. I think I'm saying that right. And thank you for joining me. This tracer, this design will be available for my members of Painting Tracers to Go. Thank you. And I almost forgot, we need to add some snow on here so that it looks more like a wintry scene. Almost completely forgot about that. So we need to put some snow on the branches. Let's see here. There's different ways I could do that. I could use a round brush for that, or I could use a sponge for that. Let's see here. Let's just keep it simple, and let's use a number 8 round brush. You know, something not too small, not too big. And I'm going to grab some white paint, and I'm just gonna dab on the tip here. Like there's like, you know, a little, like some snow kind of built up there. Let's add a little bit just on the top part of the branch, on the tip here.